I'm having a whole Life with Lisa moment around boundaries and how oftentimes the label of family somehow makes us have exceptions to the rules, or somehow we've learned exceptions to the rules because it's family. And a lot of what I've navigated personally over the last many years in my own life, with my own family and dynamics, in working with clients and mentorships and understanding others' family dynamics and helping them navigate different things and different boundaries. It's one of these areas for me that is not black and white. And although the nature and relationships of a family dynamic or of a family unit does come with its own energies and own roles and own dynamics, it doesn't mean that we are to surrender our boundaries or gray things out just because it's family. Honoring what feels right and true for you, honoring what works for you, finding spaces of compromise and adaptability and new ways of being or doing things, or new dynamics in the relationships as you are going through life, as you're evolving in your life and with these blessed humans on the journey with you. Changes get to be made as necessary, and boundaries get to be enforced as necessary. This showed up today in my experience because I have guests staying down the street in one of our family homes. And before I entered the house, I let them know. I sent a text that I was coming over soon. And then when I got to the door, I knocked a few times to let them know that I was coming in before unlocking the door and coming in. And one of them said, "You don't have to knock. You're family. Just come in." And so now, fast forward many hours, I had this moment of revelation of, well, I prefer people to let me know when they're coming to my home. I prefer people to knock and notify me before they just walk in. And yes, they're welcome here if I know that they're coming, if, we have guests in town or family members in town. It's not that I don't want people to feel welcome to come and go from my home. It's this energy around honoring the boundary and creating safety in the experience. For a woman like myself who used to live in a home where strangers would solicit and come knocking on the door or banging on the door or ringing the doorbell without any notice of someone, without me knowing that they were showing up. That was a major trigger for me. I did not like people unannounced showing up at my door. And so it became this, it was also, me understanding my boundaries and what worked for me, being a homeowner and being in my own environment, being in my own space, and what boundaries work for me and for my family and for my husband and for our space. What works for us? We had to experience, some different things to understand and learn what that meant for us. And so for me, I want to know when people are coming over. I want to know and be notified when they've arrived before they enter my home. whether they're family, whether they're friends. I like knowing who's on their way, when they're going to arrive, and them announcing themselves before they walk in, or before they come in, or before I greet them at the door. These are standard for me as a boundary, even if you are family. That communication, that awareness feels more safe. It feels more secure. It feels more open. And this isn't just with a physical environment. This isn't just I'm walking up to your door physically, This is also energetically. This is emotionally. This is mentally. This is spiritually. This is welcoming in this energy of awareness, permission, communication, and how so many things and so many exceptions to the rule that people make just because it's family. This person can treat me this way or talk to me this way or do these things, and we make it okay by saying, yeah, but they're family. Or undesired circumstances have occurred, maybe traumas, maybe arguments, maybe challenging experiences or dynamics that have shown up for us within our family relationships and within our family dynamics. And we've made things to be okay. We've given exceptions to these rules under this label of, but it's okay because they're family. And I, with all of my heart, disagree. I believe that we as individuals get to choose and honor our own needs and our own boundaries, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. What allows us to feel safe, secure, protected, empowered, respected, accepted, and unconditionally loved and supported. And if people in our world, including, not limited to, including our family members, why do we have a higher threshold for bullshit? Why do we hold a higher threshold for toxicity and unhealthy patterns? Why do we hold a higher threshold of disrespect or not being heard or not being listened to or bending the boundaries? We have been taught that family is an exception to the rule. And I believe that it is important for each of us as sovereign, empowered, highly sensitive, heart-centered souls to stand firm in our hearts and what is right and true for us. In this is how I will be treated. This is how I will be respected. This is how I am holding myself, and I am inviting you, encouraging you, activating you, being that catalyst for desired change, speaking up for yourself, standing up for yourself, enforcing the boundaries that are meant to honor what it is that you need, and not fucking taking it anymore. I am not going to stand for this type of behavior, communication, these ways. I'm not going to stand for these ways any longer. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to stand in my sovereign power. I'm going to choose differently when I need to. And if you are going to rise to the occasion and meet me there, amazing. And if you're not, I can accept and respect those choices of yours too. But do not expect me to lower my standards for whatever behavior you believe to be acceptable when it's not acceptable for you anymore. when you are rising and holding your ground and standing in your power and in your heart. Sometimes this is going to make people very uncomfortable, and they're going to need to adapt or shift or elevate or change or view from a new perspective, open their minds, open their hearts, see things differently, understand differently, hear you differently. Some will be willing to do that in this discomfort. Others will likely shrink down and shy away. Some may even get defensive or try to fight back. And this isn't about you fighting for a cause. It's just standing in your greatness and standing in your power and honoring your boundaries and communicating them and not backing down, not backing down. And sometimes not backing down means I love you, I respect you, but no, this is not going to work for me. And if that's the way that you are going to choose to proceed, I will remove myself from the experience because it's not something that I'm willing to entertain. So although this was inspired by a physical interaction that I had and very brief moment, it really unraveled all of these layers and perspectives of there's a bigger picture at play here. And how important it is to stand up for ourselves, to speak out and communicate our boundaries, be willing to express them, be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, and accepting and respecting where others are on their journey. We can't make somebody hear us. We cannot make somebody see us. We cannot make somebody understand us. But we can hear and see and understand and accept and love on ourselves. And we can respect ourselves enough to not back down from our boundaries. And we can be gentle and graceful about it when need be. We can be firm and bold and courageous about it when need be, depending on your own personal experiences and what you're navigating. It's going to be different with different people, different scenarios, different experiences. But we are not backing down from our boundaries, regardless of other people's conditioning, behaviors, patterns, or what they perceive or what they believe to be quote unquote right or okay. Because if it's not okay for you, it's not okay. And if it doesn't work for you, it's important to hold that ground, let others have the opportunity to rise to meet you and to grow and evolve and expand through that uncomfortable interaction or stretchy edge, to open up to something different or not. And in that case, we accept and respect that they are choosing differently than we are, while still holding and honoring our truths from the heart, from a space of love and safety and what works for us.